back with another Bible in a Minute, Genesis 25. It starts off by letting us know that after the death of Sarah, Abraham takes another wife. Her name is Keturah, and she bears him 6 sons. This is in addition to his one son with Hagar, Ishmael, and his one son, Isaac, with Sarah. And Abraham sends all of these sons, he gives them gifts, sends them all east away from Isaac because he gives his inheritance to Isaac. Everything he has, he gives to Isaac. In verse 9, Isaac and Ishmael come together and bury Abraham. This is the first time they're mentioned together since Abraham sent Hagar and Ishmael away. And this is the last time they're ever mentioned together as well. If you go back to look at Genesis 23, Isaac is 37 years old when his mother dies. But in this chapter, chapter 25, we find out in verse 19 and following that Isaac got married to Rebekah when he was 40. So there was 3 years in between the death of his mother, the sending of Abraham's servant Eliezer to find a wife, and then her coming and marrying Isaac. Well, a certain amount of time passes. Rebekah is barren. She cannot bear children. And so Isaac prays to God. God hears his prayer. This is really cool because if you go into the New Testament and read the story of Zechariah, who is serving in the temple, it's in the Gospel of Luke, he is praying to God on his wife's behalf, Elizabeth, because she was barren. And they were both, I guess, in advanced age. So this is really cool because God is hearing the prayers of these husbands that are so concerned about their wives, the cultural shame that attached to it. You know, when you were barren, it was considered that you committed sin. And Jesus reminded his disciples that when the man was born blind, the disciples say, who sinned, him or his parents? And he said, neither sinned, so that God's glory could be revealed. And so these women, Elizabeth in the New Testament and Gospel of Luke, and Rebekah here in Genesis 25, are barren because God has closed their womb. But God hears the prayer, the petition, the heart of the husbands to pray for their wives, and he answers their prayers. So this chapter also talks about the birth of Esau and Jacob, these twin sons of Isaac and Rebekah, and how they were fighting in the womb, and there would be contention in their life. And so this clearly was a prophecy, but it lets us know, hey, you're going to see the contention between these two, and the Bible records the first instance of that at the end of Genesis 25, when Esau comes in from the field. He's hungry. He hasn't found any game, no deer, nothing to eat, and so he's starving. Jacob is over there just, innocently stirring a pot of stew and pushing the aroma of this stew towards Esau and say, hey, aren't you hungry? What will you give me for this? And so Esau sells him his birthright for a pot of stew because he thinks, hey, the birthright means nothing if I die from starvation. Now, he wasn't going to die of starvation, but according to some, my kids when they were younger, they're like, I'm starving, and they literally, it's you've eaten every meal. You're hungry right now. But anyway, so read Genesis 25 and comment what you think is the most impactful part of that story, what kind of draws your attention. Love to hear from you.